All right, what's up, guys? So, got my hair cut. Check how bald I am now. Well, I was bald before. Just got it last week. Anyways, I want to talk about the. I'm sorry, my mind went blank. I want to talk about the swinging and stacking method. It was brought up to me so many times because of the LQDFX micro account trade copier was going up so much because I was stacking 80, 90 positions throughout that whole week. So I'm going to go through you guys on some tips and how I went about on stacking these trades back on April 6th, which was Monday. And then I took profit on April 13th, the day after Easter. So a week after that. So everything is going to be looked at on the weekly and the daily charts. And I'll show you guys how I started on some of these pairs and what I saw an opportunity. How I saw the opportunity of stacking these trades so that you guys can actually see it for yourself. So let's go ahead and share this screen here. So I want to talk about, okay, so go. Now, obviously, 2 weeks ago. So let's talk about, because I'm talking about the April 6th here. So on April 6th, which is here, right? So this is the April 6th candle here. And it went up, right? I got pinned back down. Now it's going back up again, right? Isn't that crazy how I got pinned back down and then went back up? So it's all fundamental now. But based on the candle being pinned down, I would sell it. It did go down to like 1659. Now it's bouncing back to 1730. So it's pretty crazy where gold is going at right now. Obviously, I wouldn't mess with gold on selling unless something major happens on the fundamental side. But the first pair that I was looking at was USD CAD. Reason being is because USD CAD hit all-time high of the year. And that all-time high on April, was it March? All-time high. So I'm gonna revert this back here. And I want to show you guys why this is critical. All-time high of 2016 came up to an all-time high to hit of 2016's highest price based on the yearly, right? Based on the year's price of what happened 2 years ago. So I saw an opportunity to sell USD CAD and stack the sell at 145, 144, and 143. Notice that USD CAD is still sitting at 140. So if you were to swing the sell on USD CAD, you're making money. And that's something that you have to look at if you like swinging. If you don't like swinging, obviously this video is not for you. I'm making this video because a lot of you guys have asked me, how do you stack and swing for so long? You can't. There are perfect times, and you just gotta time it correctly. And I looked at these time frames based on the weekly chart. With the weekly chart, I tie that back down to the daily so that I can start positioning myself, because from Monday through Wednesday, then I'm looking at opportunities of how many positions I want to stack and how many positions I want to keep stacking on top of that. So for USD CAD, I had like 25 or 26 sell positions on USD CAD on Monday right away. Yeah, they were negative, but I tell you what, by the end of the week, I was making a lot of money. So that's just something to talk about. This was the first pair that I looked at. It was an opportunity to sell because it hit an all-time high, record high. And when it got pulled back down, let me go back here. I know this might be a long video. I don't want it to be, but it probably end up being a long video. If you take the time to watch this, you understand it more. If you just in it just for you gotta watch it to really understand it. You can't just like, oh, I'm just gonna watch like 5 minutes. I think I'm good. You gotta watch it and reapply everything that I say. Based on this, right? So let's talk about April here. April. This April 6th candle here was a bearish engulfing candle over the previous candle. But the main selling point came from this right here on the 16th of March. So about a month ago is when that was, a really good time just to place just a couple positions and hold it. Now you have to look at it, try to retest the high again because it's the wick right here at what 140, like mid 145.5, right around there. Got denied, got shot down. So this is the first line of resistance. This is the second line of resistance. You can clearly see that UCAD has not been retesting the highest price. It's been trying to push back up. You can see that it tried to come back to 143. That was another good time to sell it too. And if you look at USD CAD on the monthly chart, so let me show you guys the monthly chart here, because the new monthly count is going to come in next week, Friday. And you can clearly see that this is creating a bearish doji candle here. And if we were to reverse, not reverse, but to go back, and you can see how this is about to be lined up like how this is. So I'm looking at a really strong opportunity of selling USD CAD probably till the end of the year. Now that really comes down to how much capital and how much the balance you have to cover for swing for the next 9 months. Not a lot of people have the money to do that. So, not 9 months, 8 months. Yeah, because April. I would say 7 months because the month of May would be the 5th month. So for 7 months, right? 6 months. 6 months. So looking at the monthly candle, I would be looking for 3 bear candles to create like this for the next 3 months. Can anything change? Yes, it can. Oil's been at a huge slump since for 1999 and 1980's lowest price at $0. So fundamentally, oil has taken a toll. Well, I'm not talking about oil right now. So looking at USDK, that was the first opportunity that I saw. The second opportunity and the third opportunity of currency pairs that I saw was New Zealand and Australia. The Aussie dollar and the Kiwi dollar were the next two in line because if we were to look at New Zealand, if we look at the New Zealand dollar and the Australian dollar, they've been down since 2018. We look at this right here. This is on the weekly chart. In 2018, it was a massive sell, and they dropped it all the way down. Well, they dropped New Zealand dollar down to 55 cents. I saw an opportunity to buy when I saw the second weekly candle here as a massive. I always call it a massive bullish engulfing candle, but it's bullish engulfing candle. Okay, I'm just trying to get the correct terms here. So when I saw the bullish engulfing candle, that was my go-to of stacking. And this was, the beginning of April. And let's talk about April 6th because I started stacking a lot on that time frame anyway. So April 6th is right here. April 6th. Came up. And then the next week is when I took profit. So can you make a lot of money swinging the whole week? Of course you can. You just got to identify the pairs at the peak of the lowest and the peak of the highest. And that's what I saw. Can you do that with all pairs? No, you cannot. So if you were looking at, hold on, let me erase this. Sorry, I'm trying to erase this. No, let me talk about Australia. The same thing for Australia. April 6th, right here, bullish engulfing candle, and you can still see it's still trying to revert itself back up here to retest higher and higher. And if you look at the monthly, if you tie the monthly, look at the monthly for New Zealand and Australia. Very similar. They correlate together, and you can see the bulls took position of the wick here of the monthly candle that closed out here for the month of April. That was another reversal point of price that I was looking at as well, based on the candlestick that was being closed. So very important to understand where candlesticks, price price meets out with candlesticks, and when the candles close, the wicks that come in, right? Bulls are in control or the bears are in control. So everything that I'm talking back to is naked forex. So nothing too crazy. Just very simple on price action, candlesticks, and then that's it. And just look at the structure of the trend. Let's see. I was gonna talk about if you were, let's just say USD Swiss. USD Swiss, I didn't really see much. Let's see here. Euro is gonna keep selling based on what I'm looking at right now. Euro GBP is getting pinned back down again. Now, obviously, looking at Euro GBP, it's crazy how much. But I'll talk about Euro GBP. This guy tested a new high, got rejected at the 95. Same thing like what he's doing here. And I'm looking at the same setup going back down. And I'm looking for it to really crash 83, break 83. This is the main point right here. Break 83 cents and then come down, break this gap, and then break the low down here at 75 and 74. But that's long term. If that's the case, then we're looking at UK for the pound to reverse itself back up to retest 2018's high would be 142 and 143. That's how I trade the pound against Euro GBP because they inverse correlate. So I didn't go too crazy on stacking on USD JPY. Look at USD JPY on April 6th, which is right here. All right, inverted, right? Gravestone candle, inverted. I just placed a couple sells and then that was it. And it actually did sell all the way back down on the 13th by the 13th. So, and then now USD JPY is trying to retest itself back up. So there are certain pairs that, you know, that do work out. You know, that's why I'm talking a lot about stacking and swinging. It takes patience. It takes a lot of discipline to look into the higher time frames, because you really have to look at your you really have to dive into the analysis of how long you're really going to hold these trades till. And my goal was to keep holding them until the end of the month, but some of them are really at a point where they're not continuing the trend anymore. So very few pairs are trying to continue the trend, and some are just consolidating at this point. So just very important that don't get too caught up on saying to yourself that you're going to hold out a trade, right? If you're going to hold out a trade for a long time. And if you do, you got to have the money to back it up. Like you can see that USD CAD had a major up move back to 143. So if you sold it on the April 6th candle, you lost all the profit that you made. And when I saw the opportunity, you know, when this candle closed out as a bull candle, but it was still a doji, but it closed out as a bull candle, it signified for me that I was going to take profit once April 13th opened on Monday, and I did. And so that's why I made the video 250 to 1500, because I took profit on all those weekly swings. Very important to understand where you dive yourself into, especially with the weekly charts, and you tie the weekly charts back to the daily. If not, if you want to hold out forever, you know, for 3-6 months, you got to look at the monthly chart. And if you want to, like I said, if you want to stack like how I stack, you got to look at at these time frames. And if you plan on holding out forever, then you gotta look at the structure and where this trend's going to go. There are times that the markets might end up reversing, and you have to be ready at all times if the market decides to have a fundamental reverse, not technical, but a fundamental event. So fundamentals will always take over, especially this year. This is huge. So we don't know what to expect for the outcome, especially for the end of this month. Now, looking at oil, right? Let's look at oil. Massive, right? Look at this bull wick. Bam. So whoever bought at $0 is making good money right now. And I wouldn't be surprised. And so look at oil right now. You can't miss the opportunity of buying oil at $0. how, and you can't how could you not miss the opportunity of buying oil at this time anyways? So eventually oil's got to come back up. Eventually the markets are going to go back to normal. Eventually Wall Street's going to go back to normal. Eventually this virus is going to go over, right? This temporary fundamental change. So you have to look at it, what's going to happen for this upcoming summer, what's going to happen in the fall, and what could possibly happen, in the election, because this is an election year for the United States. Is Trump going to get reelected and bring up business back up again? If not, Democrats are going to come in and probably might end up bringing business back down. So look at the consumer side of that, like consumer spending, economy, all that ties in back to fundamental. So in this video, I hope it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, comment. I always try my best to, like I said, I always try my best to comment back to you guys, unless it's like a stupid comment, then I try my best not to. But other than that, I hope this video makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know. I mean, I'm still making YouTube videos. So, all right, I hope you guys are catching pips. Hope that you guys caught that oil, and pay attention to oil, because it is a really game changer to catch it at the really lowest price and to make a amount of money. Oil pays 5 times more than gold. So, I mean, I've been eye on oil ever since it hit just zero. So very important. And like I said, stay very close attention to what's going to happen at the end of 2020 with the president election. If Trump's going to get reelected, or if not, Democrats are going to come in and take over the economy. So very important on that, for that aspect, especially for fall of 2020. So I don't really expect too much craziness in the summer. I do expect things to come back to normal at that time. So just gas prices just might go back to normal. Oil prices might go back to normal. So the way I'm looking at it right now, but we'll see how it goes for United States for the next month here, for the month of May. So other than that, peace out, guys.